believe it or not, but WordPress even comes with a kitchen sink, if you can imagine that. So here's where I am. I hope your email linked worked for you. I closed out of all of those extra tabs that I had, and I'm all the way back into this back end, the admin back end for our WordPress blog, and I'm still editing this first blog post that you and I created called Welcome to My Blog. That's where I am. And I want to show you some additional formatting tools, some additional formatting options that we can make use of when we're creating new blog posts. And all of this is going to make use of the kitchen sink toolbar, as it's called here in WordPress. I'm just going to scroll down just a little bit inside my interface here, and the very last item inside the formatting toolbar here, this guy right here, show hide the kitchen sink. Go ahead and click on that guy, and lo and behold, you're given an additional toolbar. So this kitchen sink button here is really just a toggle. Click on them, and that will allow the additional toolbar there, the kitchen sink toolbar, to show and hide. It's a toggle. That's the idea, right? Okay, so what can we do with this guy? Well, let's run through some of the options, and then we'll start trying out some of the different settings that we can use here. First of all, starting on the left-hand side, we have a paragraph drop-down menu. And really what that is a formatting drop-down menu. If you know your HTML, and if you know about HTML block elements, then you know about paragraphs, and you know about heading 1s, and heading 3s, and heading 5s, and so on and so on. So what we can do is we can actually apply these different HTML block levels or block elements to our post if we want to. That's the first item there. Then we have underline, which I don't think you should use, by the way. I really wouldn't recommend you use underline at all, because when we're working on a blog or a website, any text that appears underlined is assumed to be a hyperlink. And if I take a piece of text here and I make it underlined, then my visitors are going to find it very frustrating that they can't click on that link. Well, it's because it isn't a hyperlink, it's just underlined text, right? In any regard, you can make a judgment call for yourself on that one. Next over, we have an alignment option. Align full, what you might know as justified text. We can set a color for our text if we want. And then these next two options I really like. Paste as plain text and paste from Word. So if you select some content that you've typed in Word and you just paste it normally, Command V or Control V into your blog post, you might find that you get some wacky formatting or that you lose some of your formatting and so on. So what you can do is you can use this paste from Word option. And likewise, what you can do is you can paste your text as plain text. In other words, as unformatted text. And this is an option that I use quite a bit because a lot of times I might be pasting in some content from possibly another blog post or another resource, something like this. And when I paste it in, I get some leftover formatting that I don't want. So I'll go ahead and paste it as plain text instead. The next option over is going to allow us to remove formatting, any kind of formatting really that you have. It could be some italicized text perhaps, or some text that has some other formatting on it. You can just use that remove formatting option there on your toolbar. I suppose that's supposed to look like a little eraser there, but anyway, that's the idea there. We have an insert/edit embedded media, and we'll talk a lot about working with media during our time here together, but we can certainly add in some media there. This next guy here I love. Insert a custom character. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to scroll down here a little bit, and maybe what I'll do is below the last line inside my blog post, I'll type in here, please remember this content is 2010. Now that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? Unless we put a copyright symbol before the year, right? So how this would work is you'd place your cursor where you want that special character, that special symbol to show up. And if you've been wondering about creating accented characters or including accented characters, symbols like trademark symbols and copyright symbols and so on, this is exactly what we're talking about here. So step one is you'd place your cursor where you want that symbol, that special character to show up. Step number two, click on this fella right here on your kitchen sink toolbar, and that'll bring up this screen here, this dialog box here, and we go and find that character that we're after. Again, an accented character perhaps, or some kind of a symbol, quite possibly, something like this. or a copyright symbol, just like that. And all we do is we just single click on it. That adds the symbol into our post. I'll just put a space after that, something like this. That's all there is to it. It's very easy to work with. So hopefully all good. All right, next up we have our outdent and our indent buttons there. You can use those guys. And if you've been wondering about undo and redo, well, there they are, right there on your kitchen sink toolbar. And then last but not least, we have our help. Okay, I want to show you one quick thing here. I'm going to make a couple of changes to the blog post here. Well, really just one sort of fundamental change. Where it says will also be, I want to change that just a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll select that space just before the word wheel, and I'll get rid of it there, and then I'll just hit enter. And then what I'll do is I'll take this sentence here and I'll reformat it. Right now it's formatted as a paragraph. I'm going to go and change that. Maybe I'll make it a heading 3, something like this. All right, now let's go and see what we wind up with. I'll just scale down my browser window here so we can see what's happening. Let's go and save our draft. And just wait for it there. Wait for that update message there at the top, and then let's preview this guy and see what we wind up with. Let me scroll down just a little bit. All right, there we are. So there's that copyright in there down at the bottom, and there's that heading 3 added in just above our unordered list. So there's your kitchen sink toolbar.